Hey, hey, hey! Here we go, setting it straight with fam. This is Bobby B, and I'm here with the two greatest and the awesome sons in the world, Jordan and Joshua, bringing in the sauce again. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's fun to hear or not, they're gonna bring it. They're gonna bring the truth. That's what I love about them, because they're gonna give the truth. You know, even though one might be on the edge and the other one might be on the other side, but that's okay. They bring the truth, and I love that. But today we are going to talk about this Texas game and what happened, man. What went wrong? We didn't have like massive penalties and nothing like that. What was it? You know what I'm saying? Are we going to get in? We're going to get onto this today. And we're going to talk but you know, what would happen? Well, you know, what happened to the Dallas Cowboys sauce? What's going on? There's a leak somewhere. We need to figure this out soon because the playoff is just around the corner. But we're going to do, but before we do, we're going to do like we always do. And that is, how about them Cowboys?
About them Cowboys.
That's right. So, okay, Joshua, what in the world caused us not to show what was supposed to have been a 16-point spread win? What was it? Come on, man. You saw it again. Please let us know what happened.
I'm trying to not to like put emotion into this and trying to make as much as possible. All right. I mean, it was an embarrassment. Some of these wounds were self-inflicted. You know, the muff punt didn't help us at all, or help the Dallas Cowboys at all. Excuse me. I mean, this is the type of things that brings like teams to life that shouldn't be brought to life, right? And that's the first thing. Second thing is that I mean, listening to the listen to the quarterback, listen to the head coach, and then like watching the all 22. The film was a little different at this game than it was the previous Texans games. I mean, you got to remember, like, Lovie Smith, as I was saying before, like, he's like a proponent of the cover two defense. And they were playing a lot of they were playing a variation of the cover two. They were playing like what you would call quarters defense. And so, I mean, if done correctly, which it was, right? Especially if you're having a quarterback that was not prepared for that. I mean, it doesn't really bode well for the opposing team, right? So now you have to like make tighter window throws. I think there's different ways to combat against this, but the ways that the Dallas Cowboys were prepared was not to do the bombs or because quarters defense. I mean, you can kind of take advantage of that by throwing down the sideline or sometimes in between the seams, but like not between the seams, but down the sidelines and stuff like that. But the play calling wasn't geared towards the quarters defense. It was geared towards the Dallas, the little bit more of the cover two, cover one type deal. So that and the fact that it just causes the quarterback to make be a little bit more hesitant on things, right? Dak wasn't as crisp as he could have been, and I'm not even talking about the interceptions. I'm just talking about other throws. I mean, there was crucial drops, not more drops than usual, but there was crucial drops, right, that can keep a drive alive, right? Those were happening, just like silly plays. Not a lot of on defense. Jordan can talk about defense, but you got to remember we have Kelvin Joseph, which I mean he didn't do as bad as some would expect. I think he had like one play, but he I mean it's I won't say it's as noticeable but it's definitely apparent that I mean he just needs a little bit more work. I mean, I'm glad the Cowboys came out with the win, but I'll let Jordan talk more about the defense. I mean, you can touch on the offense if you want.
Yeah, it's like, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I ain't loving it. It's bad. Everything I said last week, and the previous week, keep creeping up. It's like if we all worked at, if we had a cash flow business, right? And you two were the managers, right? You guys ran the business, and I was the cashier, and I just kept forgetting, to get the proper change back to the customer. And you guys keep coming in like, hey, you're messing up the books. You keep forgetting, to get the proper change, you know, whether it comes in and out. The books are off because you're not getting the proper change right, right? What I'm trying to say is we keep coming up short in the little things. We're shorting ourselves in the little things, right? We're not getting a proper. We're not. Our books aren't right. We're always off just a little bit. Now it might not seem that big of a deal if you're off $1 here, 50 cents here, but then when you got the IRS coming in and they want to look at the books and we're like, hey, what's up with all this? Got me moving off. And that's how I feel about the Cowboys when it comes to time to us to come and compete in the playoffs. I feel like all these little things that we're not showing up on offense is going to somehow creep up into the playoffs. And when it's time to do what we're supposed to do, all these things are going to get exposed, and everyone's going to be like, "Well, we knew the Cowboys were bad. They still do that. This is what they do every year because it never gets addressed." Uh, at least this week we didn't have so many penalties, but what we did have was bad receiver play. Where we had lots of receiver had dropped, bad calls where it seemed like they're trying to force, the Texans caught up to us, and they just want to go off the way and just keep throwing instead of doing what good for us and run first, run. It, at certain series, it seemed like they got away from that. Um, and then we can't help injuries. Still gets hurt. Ball comes in, looks atrocious. Dad gets pressured. There was a fumble. There was an interception because of the pressure. It just especially the first half. Dak looked off in the first half. He had a few missed throws in the first half. Second half, I think he, got back on track. But it always seems like we're horrible in the first half, and then in the second half, we kind of get it right. But I just feel like we did lose this game, and I'm glad we didn't lose this game because we're trying to, keep right there on the Eagles' tail, putting pressure on the Eagles. But why would the Eagles be scared of us when we do things like this, where we shouldn't be this close? The Texans shouldn't be this close in a game with us, but we somehow let it be this close in the game. But I will say that the only I think silver lining was about this offense is that last drive where you had to have it, you had to go down there, get it, and win. And we did that. We were able to, forget all the mistakes we did prior to these drives. We need to go downfield and get this. And Schultz came up big because he had a bunch of drops, and big play Brown. He showed up and he balled out. Being our most explosive player this last game against the Texans. So I don't know when we're ever going to get back to that uh, Vikings game where we're just playing where everybody's playing smart football. The defense we got our defense is carrying this team, and whew, man, did they help us out last night? I know I get on D-Law Josh and that's why we were like, hey, D-Law looking good. D-Law was the guy yesterday. Parsons didn't have it, but Parsons did bring that awareness to the O line, like, hey, we got to look out for this guy because he did false starts, especially on that last drive where they had back-to-back false starts because they were anticipating Parsons coming off the line. But man, I don't know. If it's not for his defense in that last drive, I don't know. Like, I still don't know about this coaching staff. I still don't know about this front office. I don't know.
Right. Well, I think what, and I agree with both of you. And what I think another thing that is really disheartening about our team, and you guys alluded to it, and just is the fact that every time we get behind, they just abandon our the recipe of winning the games. I mean, it's not like we was behind in the first half about 20 points. We was only down by 3. And the second quarter, they just abandoned the run, it seemed like, on the second half of the second quarter. When Dak kept the ball in his hand all the way down the field. I mean, it's like, bro, why are we panicking? What are we doing? I mean, we still have the number one, number two well, number in the league, but I'm saying we have two explosive recipes, ingredients that proven to get things done. And it's not like Pollard and Zeke weren't running really powerful or running really strong this game. Them balls is moving that line and running really
Yep.
hard. So
Yep.
it's just like who hits the panic button? I wish I can just go on the field, find who got this panic button, and just run with it. Just go and grab it, and just run out the run out of the stadium. Don't even let them pat. Don't even let them. I don't care where we get. You can't press this button. This we keeping this. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
whoever got that panic button, you want to chain them to a chair. You stop it.
Right.
What are you doing? I mean,
Go more.
you
Go
know,
more. Go more. It's Kellen Moore. I mean, she likes. I mean, let's be honest. Like he was getting too cute with it. You know, he's a air raid offense. That's the type of coordinator that he is. He loves passing the ball, right? He loves passing the ball,
it's
but
gonna bite us.
it all clearly when you're the strength of your team at this point is the run game. So play off the run. Don't like you're getting too cute and being like, well, they're going to think that we're going to run, so let's pass it. I'm like, if they think we're going to run, then prove to us that you can stop it. You know, and I think
Right.
everybody on this
Yeah.
panel agrees. You know, prove to the Cowboys that you can stop it, and then after that, then you can go into like your play actions and stuff like that. You know, so that way it can. But right now, open it up. But I mean, I get it. It's just that, and these are not. We're not even talking about the two turnovers, right? Because out of all the plays, I think those were you can chalk that up. We're going to talk about his interceptions later, but uh, there was a lot of turnover worthy plays that Dak Prescott was throwing. I
Yeah.
mean,
He had a
some
where
some
they
some head scratchers. Like, why would you throw that? You know,
That's
so I
also
mean, I
because
don't
the
know.
Texans came to play though. You gotta give that credit to the defense because those guys, that secondary was out there, getting after it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of tip balls, and that was just them being athletic and going out there and making plays. So
They're making
I
some
feel like that,
athletic plays.
yeah,
Yeah,
They'll
they
make
were
some
those
athletic plays. A couple of
those
those plays.
those type of teams, the already eliminated type teams, the what do I have to lose anyway type teams, the go big or go
yeah,
home type teams. Those
yeah,
are the ones that are going to go get you. They're not the ones that are going to play like they're going to play as cavalier and as opportunistic as they're going to as it can be. You know,
Right.
I
right,
mean that's why they
right,
were playing quarters. The quarters defense was it's super opportunistic. You know, that's why even though that the Dallas Cowboys were bad at the one point in time, like the Dallas Cowboys defense were bad at one point in time. They were getting a lot of turnovers because of the fact that they were playing the quarters defense because those are very opportunistic type plays. You know,
Yeah, but that's what I would.
you
But
guys
that's what I was
remember
saying
from
about.
2020.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying when you saying Dak was making some plays. You was wondering a lot of those plays a lot of those incompletion that he did. It was defense just you know they got their hand on the ball. That Curse, I think his name is Curse from the Texans. That boy was doing some. I'm Superman. Look at this vertical and, and jump a mile high and be touching those balls. I'm like, this boy is up there. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it takes somebody with that type of athleticism, to even get to that ball like that. Normally, that ball would have been open. Like
Yeah.
that one play, and I know you were talking about the interception that he threw that ball, like, and it was funny because Jordan was saying before we started, he was talking about ball, and I let him go ahead and continue that about the plays that he was in. But one of those plays that he that he threw that interception where he got hit the triceps on his throwing arm. Looking at that angle, and you say, why did he throw it? If he'd have thrown it over, he was open. If you go back and look at that play, he was open. If he'd have got that ball over, it'd look horrible because it
Yeah.
ain't went
And in
nowhere.
real speed, in real time, it looked horrible.
Yeah,
But then
but
when
if
you
you
go
see
back and look at
right,
what happened,
right, if you see how he was on the outside, and if he'd have thrown it over, if he'd have got across, I mean, it's a completion. So, and I did see Dak threw some, off timing, was not precision at all, bad throws that he should have. Even that one to Noah Brown, that Noah Brown, not the one he on the last play coming back. I'm talking about the one that he threw. And
oh,
Noah
he got a
Brown
flag on
stopped.
him?
Yeah, he stopped almost like a back shoulder, but it wasn't a back shoulder. He just
Yeah, that
underthrew
was
him.
yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
he came
When
back and
Noah
got.
Brown comes back and dives for the ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was not a really good play, but Noah Brown, man, I know you guys were talking about it. I mean, we were talking about Noah Brown. You got to give it up to Noah Brown, man. That boy playing some solid ball. I'm sorry, if just looking at the eyeball test, he's a little better than when I'm hearing you guys talk about. When I'm checking him out. So you guys talk about
It's
that, but
not Jordan. It's me that's is not giving him account for it. Like, give credit where credit to. Jordan was saying that he's good. I mean, he's decent, yeah, but I mean, I just think that I don't know. I don't think he's as good as
I think
some people think.
you
I
don't think.
think he was good. I think he's as good as he is. Like I just think that one, he's not going to get that many balls his way, so he needs to be more consistent with the balls that he does get, with the targets that he does get thrown at him. And I think that and that might be just the thing of him, which they probably won't do because he's not number one, two, three, all four option of this team. But when you need him, he's there. Like he's reliable, and I think that's what you want out of your third string receiver. Because when you really think about it, he's probably like the sixth option. Because what we have Pollard, Zeke, and I'm just talking about overall offense. Pollard, Zeke,
CD Schultz.
Gallup, CD, Gallup, Schultz,
Schultz.
and then you have Noah Brown in there. So when you think about it, like he's not going to get that many targets. But when like today, in an instant like yesterday, when the other guys wasn't getting it going, he was giving you big plays, and that's what I think you want your third string receiver to do. I admit that if you have somebody like an Odell Beckham come in, I don't think necessarily. I think you give him the third string spot, but I mean, no, Brown's solid. Like solid third, four guys. I don't know that. I think we need to have other guys, to keep rotating, so we can do different things with our receivers.
So those catches that Noah Brown made yesterday, you saying you saying every other receiver should make those plays? That
No,
that's not those catches that he made
no,
and timing
I'm not
routes.
going to do that because I'll be hating if I was saying that. Like, he was coming in with some improbable catches, right? It's true. It's definitely true that he came up big sometimes, right? And he came up when he needed to come up. So like, I mean, give credit to where credit is due. He had a good game last game,
So are you
right?
saying he just not consistent, or he just don't have talent alone? Because when
I
I
don't think he is
lately,
as consistent as he should be. I don't think he's as consistent as he should be. I think that he's, as some people will call it, volatile, right? So you have games like this, right? And then you have other games where you're just like, well, why didn't you keep the ball in your hand, or why did you not run that route, or you know, why did you do a slant when you're supposed to do like an out route, you
okay,
know?
all right.
And
So basically, it's consistency because even that play that he did that one play. I mean, and you watch Dak, it was a timing route, and Dak let that ball go before he returned with faith that he's going to run this route correctly, and he did. He ran that route. He ran that out route, and then he that was a big catch that he made. So I'm like, man, Ball is balling. I mean, Brown is balling.
Brown
Not ball,
balling,
not
yeah,
ball. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But Brown is balling,
yeah.
man.
Brown is balling.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I was.
I mean, he's doing his thing, but like, I don't know. You're gonna have there's so many things to unpack there. I mean, yeah, he's played it. I mean, once again, we're not doing any like pick routes or like any routes that like rub routes or anything like that. That's just creating separation for the receiver. Like, I mean, I don't know.
but I don't know. I feel like
Apparently,
on that play that Dad was speaking about, where there was a flag on, where he had to come back, Dak underthrew him. I thought he had a nice chunk of separation on that play. If you go back and look at it, so I know we don't consistently get
no, I'm
separation,
not
and I
talking
don't
about
feel
this
like.
game. I'm not talking about this game with Noah Brown. Noah Brown did a thing this game. I mean, that's
Okay.
we're past that. Like he played a very solid game, a good game, to a great game, right? We're not talking. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the consistent of like making it easier for your quarterback, so that way he doesn't have to throw in tight
But
windows. If
that's
you don't have speedy receivers, you don't have like technicians of the game like you did with your Amari Coopers, right? Or you don't have like burners that you did with like your Tavon Austins, or like a mixture of both with like your Randall Cobbs back in the day in 2018,
I don't
right?
even
So
think
you're
Randall
gonna
Cobb was
have to
that good,
create.
but yeah,
Okay,
that seems like
I guess we have to agree to disagree. But the thing is,
that's. I'm talking about him in that
you
season.
have to.
I don't think it was that. Yeah.
But check this out. Check this out. Yeah, I'm just saying that Noah Brown. I don't know. He just seemed to be, doing what doing what he's supposed to do, and he's more than I thought that people was giving him kudos. For even though I know you were saying you don't think he was doing as good as everybody was saying he was, I think he was. But I know that you not feeling all of the things that we done as a Dallas team coming from this
On offense
game,
wise.
offensive wise. Yeah, I mean, defensive. Them boys. And here's another thing. I haven't seen, and I know a lot of time you don't see all the things that Parson does. You don't see the big sacks. You don't think like he's not being productive. Have you guys seen Parson being productive lately, or they scheming to keep
No.
him out of it?
Yes.
Yes to what?
Yeah, definitely scheming to keep him
Yes.
out of it.
Yes. They're taking him out of it, and yes, they're being successful. And no, I didn't even know if he was playing yesterday. No, I'm kidding. He was playing yesterday.
He
It's just
didn't
the
look
fact
like
that they
himself, but he
He
did
didn't.
bring an
yeah,
impact.
He
he
didn't.
as fast as he normally is. I think he just needs some time off. I just think he just needs time off, and I would I wouldn't pitch him for next game because I mean you need all the wins you can get. But I definitely would.
I feel like he did have time off this game.
Yeah, his whole demeanor didn't seem like, even though
Yeah, like he was
he's not
himself.
a very emotional outburst type of guy on the
I mean,
sideline or whatever the case
he
is,
thought
but his the whole
he get
demeanor was
sacked.
off. Huh?
I'm pretty sure he thought he was going to get some sacks, but he didn't. And I'm pretty sure
Playing
my
himself
demeanor
right
would
up.
change too if I felt like I wasn't going to be as dominant. See, but their whole game plan was to score early, which they did, but they weren't counting on the muff punt that happened. If the muff punt, like, if that happened, like the whole game plan would have changed, and you would have to
Yeah,
see them being forced to throw the ball. So, I
yeah,
mean, that changed the dynamic of the game tremendously, right? It changed. I mean, they're doing quick passes, a two quarterback system, and they're doing run plays, which the Dallas Cowboys are not really good at, and it's still was apparent that they were not as good as they were beforehand. I mean, you're doing like they no, sorry, delay that. They did do a great job because that last stand was great towards the run. So they're getting better, but they're not where they want to be, or where the fans want them to be at. So, I mean, if there was an Achilles heel, that would be the Achilles heel, and it's up to the linebackers to run through the trash to figure out get throughout the trash or to be in the flats. It's also the play. Look, love Dan Quinn to death, right? But when you're playing inside contain and they're running to the outside, you're depending on a 4.3 speed to go catch a person that's already accelerated to where they're going to accelerate it at. Be You're depending on a person that has a 4.3 speed to match the other person and at the same spot where he's already accelerated to his top speed already. So it takes some time to get to that speed, and that's what was going on. I mean, give credit to the Texans; they were pulling on the outside, and you know when you're playing inside contained, I mean, there's not much you can do. Especially the Texans attacked the vulnerabilities of the defense. I mean, that's the play. That's the nature of the play calling, right? I don't even think
yeah,
that there was like a personnel issue at some time. I just thought it was the nature of the play calling. They found the gap and they attacked it, right? They found the
yeah,
hole in the game. They found the vulnerability and they attacked that vulnerability. I mean,
yeah.
Right.
you got to
Yeah,
give credit to the
they
Texans for
they
that.
they definitely I think they even surprised our defense with how good Driscoll was with well, somewhat good with running the football himself, the quarterback,
Right. Right.
being able to run. And I think that took away a reason why you didn't see Parsons as active in the game alongside with his, maybe he was off this game and he needed other guys to step up. But even so, like I don't think we got a sack this game, and so that just goes to show how at least decent that offensive line was coming in this game,
Okay.
and how they schemed not to get not to stay in the pocket and get quarter to just let us hit the quarterback. And that dude Pierce, when he was in the game before he got injured, and I think the game changed for their offense too when he left the game, but he was running over guys in our secondary and just getting it to that second level. So yeah, I agree with Josh. They schemed good. Like earlier in the game, they attacked Joseph like they should have. They didn't do too much throwing though. They didn't want to do that, but they did. When they did, they attacked the people who they're supposed to. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But the Dallas. I
Yeah,
mean,
I really they abandoned what they normally did this game, and they just came out with this whole new, I won't say whole new different game plan, but a, a new enough game plan to throw the offense and defense by surprise. They weren't doing a two quarterback system. I don't even think they were doing a two quarterback system last game. So I think they were coming out with this. So I mean, give credit to them for doing what they can to like try to squeak out a win. I mean, this reminds me of reminiscent of the 2020 Cowboys when Dak and Andy Dalton
2020,
thing, and
You're
they were
going way
they're on
back.
the third, they
right?
were on the fourth, they were on with Josh Greer, or they're on the third. Ben DiNucci playing against the Steelers
Mhm.
game, whatever like that, and they almost won, and the Steelers are actually one of the way better teams, right? And so, I mean, and they almost came up with the win. So it's just things like that. I mean, they were completely different,
But
and
you're right. And to be honest about it, if you look at that team Texan the way they played us, and this is nothing to say that we really blew. We were just that bad. And don't get me wrong, but that 1-10 team didn't look like a 1-10 team. Them boys balling. They played, man. There wasn't
And that's why it's disgusting. That's
right.
why it's
Right.
disgusting.
You be wondering like how did you came up to
How
be
did we
one
let them
and
do
one
that?
and 10, and then at the same time, yeah. And how do we allowed a 1-10 team be this close? You know what I'm saying? So, and we pretty much nailed it. You know what I'm saying? It's basically the play calling. I mean, and certain things, it's a saying they always say, any given Sunday, things happen. Who would think that we would have got a muff punt? This dude, we never showed that he have done this ever.
Yeah,
But
Turpin's been really good, but yeah.
right, but then he muffed a punt, right? And then that give them, they scored 7 after that, right? Because of
Yeah.
that. So,
Right.
what can you do? You putting them on a, awesome field advantage, field position. So, I mean, it's hard to do that all the time. And kudos to our defense, man. Even on our last play, down and deep in the fourth quarter, them boys still had that stamina. They still had that fight, that gall, that grit. They
Yeah.
ball. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
So Marcus Lawrence led that defense
oh
on that
man,
last drive.
yeah. And then I mean, they was
stepped up.
explosive, right? They were like, "Nah, you're not getting in. I'm sorry, we just you're not getting in." And that's what they
Yeah.
did.
And also shout out to like Parsons, because on that last drive, even though like he wasn't, we didn't see him on the stat sheet. He had 2 false starts on Laramie Tussle back to back.
oh,
And
because of who it was.
Parsons who was lined up right. He was
Yeah,
trying to hurry up and, get to his deep back pedal, but
yeah,
man,
that,
it's those little things that,
yeah.
that's what Parsons brings to the team.
And like you said,
hey,
those little
shout out
things
to
is going to cause us to not make it long in the playoff. We're going to have
shout out,
to tighten up.
Lovey Smith. Shout
Huh?
out to Lovey Smith. I don't like to give the opposing head coaches their due, but shout out to them, right? I mean,
Hmm.
they did a fantastic job. Like, as far as the play calling goes, I mean, I don't think there's any smart head coach or anybody out there that would say does not go for it, right? I mean, you're left with 23-20 on the field.
Look,
If
yeah,
26-20 on the field, if you make the field goal, and you understand like what's at stake there.
yeah. I don't know.
So,
I think, look, 2020, hindsight 2020, but for me personally, I would have taken the 3 because
no,
that Dallas defense is good. I would have taken the 3 because what happened? They got in field goal range on their last drive, but they
Right,
needed to score to win. So
right.
if they had at least kicked that field goal and then they went and they got the ball one more time and kicked another field goal, they would have tied. No, they would have beat us.
defense. I
No,
think the
they would
defense
have tied it up.
different though. I think they were at that point though. I think it's a lot. You're looking at a different defense because you're playing a prevent defense for as far as scoring the touchdown or whatever have you. You know, and that's what they were doing. They were just playing prevent, and that's why they went down to at least the 40 or 30-yard line.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
you never know because you never give your team that. You weren't able to put your team in that situation
Right.
yeah, I
Okay.
understand, but like that's still the best.
because those receivers work. Those receivers, when the little throws that they did get to them, they was putting in work.
Okay. Now, speaking of receivers,
Shout out to Smith.
right, and speaking of receivers on the offensive side of the door, do you think that looking at we try to go for Odell because Odell is who he is once he playing. When he's on the field, he's healthy. We can benefit a lot from Odell. Now we didn't get Odell obviously because Odell can't help us this season. Now, and I was asking you guys, do you think we need to enhance our receiving core? Right? Should we get Odell? But I'm looking at at what we have, and this is the crazy thing. This is the craziest thing. Right now, we have the team, we have the receivers can make any play. But the crazy side of that is we also have the receivers who can screw it up. Now, you don't agree? You don't agree that we can because it kind of showed this last game.
They can make every play.
I said we have the receivers that can make any play, and you said no because tell me this.
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
What play you think our receiver core can make?
Yeah. Just look at this last game and make that statement and disagree to that.
Yeah, I disagree.
How?
Wait, why? How?
I mean,
But did you hear what did you hear what I was saying though?
Time out. They're NFL receivers. Any NFL receiver can make any play, right?
No, that's not true. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm 100% agree on that. Their route tree is they can run any route.
No,
they can
because
no, right?
No.
It's
I don't agree with that.
That's what it is.
That's why you have skill. That's why you gotta have some receivers. They're called skill guys. I don't think every receiver can make necessarily every play. Like I don't think.
Okay.
Like what Dad was saying. What Dad was saying is that we have a receiving core.
They can, like any other NFL receiver, they can make any play. Now, consistently.
That's not what he said, though.
I highly disagree because
yeah, I didn't say that.
Plays, you thought that.
That's not what he said, though. You're missing the point.
Yeah, but you're saying something I didn't say. You say you disagree that it's consistent. But that wasn't my thing. I didn't say they were consistent. My point was my point was we have a crew that can make any play. The sad thing is we have a crew that can screw up any play because they will drop. Because Schultz made some good plays. Then again, he dropped some simple plays. But Brown, he didn't. Brown was solid yesterday, so I can't pick on him. But even CeeDee Lamb, he dropped passes. And Gallup, yeah. But we have a crew that can make any play. But to get to my point is this. Because of that, but what I'm saying that we have the crew that and even to go to your point is not consistent. We picking up another receiver. Do y'all agree that we should have picked up this new receiver? And
I think.
Go ahead, because if the Dallas. Go ahead.
All right, I'll let you go off. Let me go. I think that the
Dallas Cowboys can make. I'm sorry.
If Dallas Cowboys can make what?
If the Dallas Cowboys wide receivers, what you're saying, if they can make any play, then shouldn't get any other wide receiver then. Because what's the point?
That was only half of what I just said though. Make sure you hit the both part of what I said. You just going just half of what I said.
Look, I think your receiving core, because I don't think every receiver can do everything. I think there's only a few of those receivers that can do everything. Those are your D-Hops. Those are your Adams. Those are your Mario Cooper can't even do everything, but he was our number one guy. Those are your Jeffersons. Those guys can literally do everything when it comes in terms of being the speed guy, being able to get past guys, being able to jump, catching jump balls, being able to run every route, beat guys doing every routes, being able to have certain moves on guys. Those guys are able to do are all-around receivers. Our receiving core, we don't have one guy who can do everything, but we have a multitude of guys that can do everything as collectively. Yes, sometimes they're very inconsistent, like Dad was saying, like you're saying, they're not consistent. Because when they are consistent, you get games like games like the Viking game where everybody was just doing their job, right? But you got Brown who sometimes can make jump balls. Gallup can make jump balls. Brown and CeeDee have been yak guys. CeeDee is a great yards after the catch guy. That's his bread and butter. Schultz, when he's not dropping balls, and especially that last drive showed it. He's great at making contested throws, contested catches. I mean, he's great at making contested catches, and getting a little bit of yards after the carry. He's more like Jason Witten in that aspect. So we have guys who can do a little bit of everything. It's just their inconsistency. But you want to have, and that's what we had last year. We had depth at the receiver core, and we had guys who can rotate out because that's one of the things that we like to do last year is we rotated our receiving core because sometimes Mari Cooper wouldn't be on the field, but you would still have CD, Gallup, Brown, and
Wilson.
Cedric Wilson. Cedric Wilson first, then Brown. So you were able to do a multitude of different things with that receiving core, and I think they're still trying to make up for those inadequacies that we let go of Cedric Wilson and we let go. We
And Mark
traded
Cooper.
Amari Cooper for pennies. They're still trying to find, you know, another guy to go in there and help, make big plays, make splash plays. I can say the one thing we probably don't have on this receiving, in this receiving core is just a straight speed guy. I mean, Turpin is fast, those guys are fast, but they're not like Tyreek Hill fast, and I think they're not like quickness fast where they can like quick get open and be wide open. And that's what you want, Josh. You want to see more separation. I think their separation guy might not necessarily be there yet, and maybe that's why they grabbed T.Y. Hilton because I don't know. Like I don't know why you wait this long. If you thought T.Y. Hilton was the guy, why you wait till right now to get a T.Y. Hilton when you should have just
So
got him way earlier in the season?
that's the only reason why I can think is mainly because of health reasons. You know, I'm 100% with you though. If you thought that he was going to be good at some point, why not get him? Or maybe that was their whole game plan in the beginning was to wait to see if he was super healthy and then see what he can do to contribute. You know, um, but I also think that I don't think it's a point to the. I mean, look, Amari Cooper's Amari Cooper. He's one of the better things in the league. Wide receivers in the league. I mean, Dak Prescott's game changed when he got it. So who's to say that he can't do it? But I've yet to be. The jury is out, right? I thought that James Washington was going to be the person, but it just seems like this group right here, the wide receiver group, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and Noah Brown, right? And then you have the Whack-A-Mole brothers. You know, they're going to be
Whack-a-mole brothers.
they're going to be the team. That's going to be the wide receivers. There's going to be your wideouts and your tight ends. They're going to be
Those
your pass
Whack-a-mole brothers
catchers.
are pretty good too.
Yeah, but here's a question: why do you think they only have Washington stay in that one play? I don't know if he only been in one play, but he missed that one pass and they yanked him.
That's probably why,
Probably
because he missed that one pass.
they hit the wrong route. He probably was in
Look,
the wrong route. They were like, you know what? You don't apparently weren't
no,
looking at
because the ball didn't the ball hit him. The
The
ball
ball,
hit him.
the ball hit him.
The ball
Yeah,
hit him.
yeah, the ball hit him. So he
in
was
the
where he was
chest.
supposed to be, apparently.
Yeah, he dropped it. And after that, yeah,
Mm.
we didn't see no more. And maybe that's why they picked up Ty. Can't even say his name, but maybe that's why they pick up Hilton
Ty.
because maybe they just I mean Ty is a guy who's pretty much over the hill at this point. Maybe he has some left in the tank. We don't know. He played 10 games last year, started 9. He's been injury prone, but he's a 5'10" receiver. He's a speedy receiver who's shifty, who can run routes. He's kind of like a
He's a
Cole Beasley,
five.
but
Oh,
better.
I think you said he's a 5'10", like that was his 40. I was like, what?
No. He's five. His height is 5'10". He's a speedy guy. No, he would. I don't think he'd be in the NFL. I mean, he was the number one receiver for the Colts for a long time. Um, so now we're, I guess, hoping to get any type of production Who knows how Kellen Moore will use him? I don't know, and yeah, I don't know, but I hope he's not just gonna be like a little gadget guy where you try to like run bubbles and get him in open space, because I don't think that's necessarily what he's gonna be doing. What his bread and butter was with the Colts. Maybe he potentially has some more in the tank. He did. What was he like? I think he had like 300 yards last season with like 30 catches, and he had 3 touchdowns. So t- he's unknown. Like, I don't know what kind of Hilton we're gonna get. Are we gonna get, you know, he in 2021 he had 700 yards and he had like 4 or 5 touchdowns. So I don't know what kind of Ty we're gonna get. So he's been out of the league for the past 14 weeks. So who knows? I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know. I
Okay,
mean,
all right. And before we go, I want to talk about that front line, the one we were talking about. Before we go, I know Joshua was saying that our front line was not good, and we were talking about that off air here just a second ago about how the play that we did in this past game and how they move things around and what you think we're gonna look like going into Jacksonville because
Let's
I'm guessing
let's
Ball is not going to be out there no more.
yeah, let's time right. The reason why the O line looked atrocious this game was mainly because of him.
Ball.
Right. So
yeah.
yeah,
So you say
he
he's to
should be
blame for a
called
lot of
Ball.
stuff that went down?
He should, well, his last name should be Busted. And I'm sorry to the Ball family, but his last name should be Josh Busted. You know what I mean? So
Look, that dude is 6'8". He picked the wrong sport.
I'm like, yeah, that's what it seemed like. He seems like he was he was not in the right sport. Like he should have been playing hockey or something like that. Because I mean, he was straight up on skates. Like the way they had him, like he was doing a triple axle, you know, on the field, which I didn't even think you could do. Right. So
Okay.
I'll tell you what, like Josh Ball is definitely not an NFL player. And I'm sorry, the Ball family, but I think
Is this it's
I
just
think he
because
either needs to go.
this is because it's what he just did yesterday? Or you saying it's because of his play that you've have been seeing?
Period. That's because of
This
everything.
has been since preseason, since training camp.
Like this is a lot
Really?
worse today because
Oh
this is a lot
yeah.
worse today. He was doing almost as bad playing against second and third strings. This is what it looks like playing against a second string that's been playing for a minute.
Look,
They
and
don't
he
have
didn't
a
even get
they
that
don't
many. We talked about it a little bit. He didn't even have that many series. I think he played like 1 or 2 series. Not even that. Probably just 1 series. No, 2 series. And on those series, he was responsible for a fumble. He was responsible for an interception, pressure that hit Dak's bicep, causing an interception. He was responsible for a goal line stand getting stuffed. It was all on his side. And when you got a guy,
you thought
I know
the way how
we
Josh
argued
Ball was
about
playing, you thought that Mika Parsons on the other side. You thought that Mika
right.
Parsons
That was just bad, man. It was
Okay,
just bad. It wasn't a good look
for him.
at
Okay,
all.
so he went out there. They put him out there because of steel. That's the reason
Still
why.
got injured, torn
no,
ACL, is out for the rest of the season.
he thought there was nobody else. You know how bad that is? A person that's playing like after 2 series or maybe 1 series. No, after 2 series, they're like, you know what? We're not even gonna. Don't even worry about getting back out there. You who's playing on the left side the whole time, just go to the right side because anything else is better.
Go, hey, you go tap that 40-year-old man and who plays on the right tackle who ain't played left tackle, no, who hasn't played right tackle in 15 years. Yeah, tell that guy come over here and take your spot.
Yeah,
That's
Wow.
you see this learn.
So Peterson
Sit
took
down,
his
sit
spot.
I,
down.
So Peters took his spot. I say
for the
Peterson,
Jason
but
Peters.
Peters took his spot.
yes.
Yes.
Then how did he
Wait,
do?
was this?
How
Look.
did he do when he went over there?
Oh, it was good. We had the
Josh
game
Ball.
winning drive.
No, no. He wasn't like all pro level. He just did better than Josh Ball. So I
He
mean,
did
compared to
good.
Josh, yeah, he was playing.
He
He
did
was
good.
playing all pro level compared to Josh Ball. You know, you might as well give that guy the MVP award for the game.
Look,
That compared
this
to
is
what they
this
were.
is this is what Jason Peters said, right? This is a direct quote. He said, "I hadn't taken any tackle reps since '05, so I just went in the game and I knew how to stay in front of people,
So
and that's what I
shot.
did. Just stayed
So
in
you
front
saw
of
that shot.
people."
You saw that shot right there.
Wow.
It
Wow.
looked like he was. It looked like Josh Ball looked like he was a waiter at a restaurant. Like just like everybody go through. Like, hey,
He said, "I
Wow.
go check
just
over
stayed
here.
in front of
Come
people
on, come on.
since '05."
Y'all
Man,
think that was a dig? Y'all think that was a dig? Okay.
and
No,
Now
maybe
he
tell
was
me
and
being
this.
maybe and
honest.
maybe not. Maybe he's just looking back at it and was just like, man, maybe he was in shock. Man, I ain't played right tackle since '05, man. Like, he had to, his moves, you got to flip them in his head. Like, that's crazy.
Okay, so Jacksonville just played who this past weekend? Who did Jacksonville just
The Tennessee Titans.
Tight, which
and
we're not
Yeah,
doing.
didn't Jacksonville won?
Mm-hmm.
they ran over them dudes.
What was the score for? Do you recall what the score for the Jacksonville versus the Titan? Because that's what we play next, right? We play Jacksonville coming up. I'm trying to figure
It
out.
was 36-22.
Wow. Okay, so looking at that, looking to see where they are, but what y'all think about this game coming Sunday?
Look, every game
36,
to me
36
going
to
forward.
22.
What do you
36 to
say?
22.
36
36 to
to 20.
22. Cowboys.
I don't
Okay.
know. Look, every game to me is gonna be like the game here on out is gonna be like the Texans game until the Dallas coaching staff proves
So,
to me otherwise.
right. So the Dallas Cowboys proves otherwise. You know, to be honest with you, I hope they get flat out. Never mind, because that means that they're
That ain't gonna teach them nothing because they've been doing that for the
Yeah,
longest.
right, right.
You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man.
And then my daughter-in-law is a Jaguar fan, so you make sure you
It's gonna be a
act,
long
act
off season.
accordingly when you go to this game because you're going to the game, right?
yeah. You're gonna see me there.
Okay,
So
all
I'm gonna
right.
be there giving
I'm
live
calling.
updates.
I'm calling you while you're there. So I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna speak. I'm
All
gonna speak.
right.
I'm gonna speak to Mrs. Bryant and see how she's feeling. She being treated
She's probably
correctly.
gonna. She's probably gonna. Yeah. You're probably a
So
little
it's
upset.
gonna be a long car ride home if Dallas don't do what they need to
Yes,
do.
it is. And I'm gonna have to tell my daughter just don't worry
I'm gonna
about it.
tell her rub it in. I'm gonna tell her rub it in all off season.
So
I'm
that's
gonna
the
come
case.
up with jokes. I'm
That's
gonna send her the NFL meetings.
if that's the case, we're gonna have a 2 hour podcast. And this is gonna be a monologue on what went wrong. So
All right, well that's it, man.
I'm not saying I'm not saying that they should beat these guys, but I'm just saying like,
They better be these
They
look,
should beat these
guys.
guys. They
I think
should,
the
just like
Dallas
they should
Cowboys
have
have the
beat Green
confidence to
Bay,
be
just like they should have beat the Texans, and just like they should have beat the Lions. But we let all these teams stay close and stay around. But they should beat these guys. I I kind of expect this game, all of our games, to be like the Texans game from here on out, where we start slow in the first half, and then it's the fourth quarter is going to determine whether or not like we're going to be on
that's
our,
not good.
you know,
The Eagles
we're going to
fan.
be
The
like,
Eagles.
okay, are we going to get it done or not? That's how I feel. That's how I feel until we
Right.
blow them out. That's how I feel going into any game.
Okay. There you have it. There you have it. Setting it straight with fam. We just talk about them boys and see what we're gonna do and see what we did. And oh no no. Sorry, my daughter's dog was about to run in here after he now got his foot in some soil over there. So he was about to run the track up the place. So, but yeah, but hey, but this is it. We good for the day. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hey, hit the subscribe button, subscribe button down below.
The like
button,
subscribe, hit the
all
bell.
of that. Yes.
Leave a comment.
Yes.
Leave a comment. I guess the comment this week will be how do you guys feel? The fans feel about T.Y. Hilton though? Do you think it was necessary? Do you don't think it was necessary?
Give it a letter grade.
Yeah, and comment below if you agree with what my sons were saying, how horrible ball was, and what should we do with it. All right, but let's go ahead and end this like we always started. You know we do it like we do it, and this is how we do it. Is how about them Cowboys?
About them Cowboys.
All right, man. Hey, peace. Love you guys. See you in a minute.